Recording now.
Welcome everyone for our first event of the year 2026. I am Priya Patra and I am the lead of the Women PowerUp Network. We have all our leads on the call today. We have Cecilia, our Latin America lead. Cecilia, would you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi, hello. It's a pleasure to be here with this great session and beginning this 2026. Thank you for joining. Thanks, Priya.
Thank you, Priscilla. And we have, thank you, Cecilia, not Priscilla, sorry. And then we have Priscilla, our social media leader, on the call as well. Priscilla.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm super excited to hear what Christina will share. It's morning here, almost Carnival in Brazil. So I'm enjoying the presentation and my trip soon as well.
Thank you, Priscilla. I hope you enjoy the carnival this weekend. And it's 7 p.m. in India, Friday evening. So again, it's a weekend for us. We have Anita from Europe, our Europe lead. Anita.
Hi everyone, I'm joining from Poland. It's 3 p.m. for me. Looking forward to the session and thank you all for joining today. Thank you, Priya.
Thank you, Anita. And Shivantika. Shivantika, would you want to say hi to everyone?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Shivantika all the way from Colombo, Sri Lanka. Super excited to connect with this session. Okay, thank you, Priya.
Thank you, Shivantika. Everyone, please say hello to each other and let us know from where you have joined in today. Join at menti.com. Use the code 22735845 and the link will soon be there on the chat window. While we get started, let's remind ourselves about the housekeeping rules. We are all here to celebrate women leadership. We are all speaking on our individual capacity. Our views expressed here do not in any way represent the organization that we work for. This meeting has been recorded. You must have already seen that. If you are uncomfortable in any way, please feel free to hop out of the event. If not, you are welcome to join our celebration. With this, let me give you a small update of our community. And this is what we remind ourselves every time we do an event. We were incepted on January 26, 2020, which makes us 6-year-old this year. And we are not a business, but we are a community with a purpose. We have lots of members, and in our LinkedIn as well as Facebook groups, around 959 people across the globe. Our vision is to empower everyone with the right support, the skill to transform the future. And right now, we are providing this platform to enhance our leadership qualities. We truly believe being good enough is just amazing. We really do not need to be an expert to power each other up. And when such good enough people come together, we power up. And together we rise. And with this, I will hand over the stage to Anita to walk us through the vision of the year.
Thank you, Priya. Yes, last year in 2025, through the year, we focused on the theme Remarkable and Rising. And this is when we focused on our strengths and believing in leaders that we already are. Together, we rose by sharing our stories and also by embracing the progress over perfection and lifting one another through the change. And this year, our theme for the year 2026 is bold moves. And to us, it felt like a natural next chapter. Because once you rise, the real question becomes, what bold step are you willing to take next? So every month, we will share our My Bold Moves stories, how we moved out of our comfort zones to be the leader that we are. And these stories will be published in our monthly newsletter. So I encourage you all to subscribe to our newsletter. You can find the QR code in the screen, and we will also share the links in the chat in a few minutes. You can also submit your own bold move story, and it will be published in our newsletter. Additionally, every month we will be organizing events like this, and I think I can already reveal that next topic that we will discuss will be move in faith. Thank you, Priya. I will also share the links in the chat.
Thank you, Anita. And with this, we hand over the stage to Priscilla.
Thank you, Priya. And we also need you, especially this year. Here is our Bold Moves calendar, and it is designed as a journey, starting with clarity and courage, moving through building strength, using our voice, taking risks, staying the course, and ultimately leading with impact. These monthly themes mirror the very steps many of us are taking in real life. If you wish to address our community, or if you know anyone who wishes to do so on these themes especially, please reach out to us. We are also inviting purpose-driven individuals like yourself of all genders to join our global community and help us power up impact through connection, creativity, and leadership. Our current volunteer opportunities are social media champion and website design and development. And both roles are 100% remote. So please apply if you are interested. And I will be sharing the link in a moment on the chat window. Thank you, Priya.
Thank you. And it's time to introduce the facilitator of the day. I hand over the stage to Cecilia.
Thank you, Priya. I'm sorry. Let me introduce the facilitator of the day, Christina, the CEO, Whispered Executive Transition Co. for CEOs and C-suites exec, founder and CEO of Bornica SRO. Christina Montrian is the founder and CEO of Bornica, a remote-first company on a mission to triple the number of women CEOs in Europe. Christina is also the author of You, the Brand, Personal Branding for Career Growth, a book she wrote in Czech, her fourth language. Born in Romania and matured in the Czech Republic, Christina is a proud European, a dynamic public speaker, visionary book author, relentless innovator, and the partner of choice for thought leaders committed to bring more good power into our world. With this, I hand over the stage to Christina. Thank you, Christina, for being here with us.
Cecilia, thank you so much. I didn't make it easy for you with with that bio. Thank you for sharing so diligently a piece of me with our community. Thank you so much for having me. Wonderful ladies. I would love our hour together today to be as interactive as possible. And I'm bringing my best self forward in a hope that both my insights and my stories will inspire you to activate something in yourself, to really touch the button of your, to really turn the volume up on your daring, on your courage, and on your commitment to bring the best of yourself in the world. Even when you know it will be bruised and it may hurt, and it might not be easy all the time, but that's why we are here in this world, on this plane of existence right now. So what I planned for you today, it is I'm going to take the floor for a few moments. Is that okay if I share my screen? Would that be okay? Thank you so much. So let me do that. Can you all see my screen all right?
Yes.
Yeah? All right, brilliant. Let me just, okay, great. Now I can see you as well. So welcome also from my side. Really quick, a bit of extra background on top of what Cecilia said. I am indeed originally from Romania, but even more precisely from Transylvania. So I am actually a vampire undercover, and I live in Czech Republic right now. So I always say by 9 o'clock in the evening, I have to be in a bed because otherwise it's dangerous for everyone involved. And Aneta knows this since last time I were in Poland, when essentially like at 9 o'clock, you can't talk to me anymore. So I moved to Prague after I finished my studies in journalism. I am a trained journalist. I moved here when I finished my studies. I started working for an economic magazine. That's me back in the good old times when I was in the newsroom. I covered financial markets and I grew in my career from a freelance reporter to deputy editor-in-chief in 2010 when the magazine was closed. And perhaps the boldest move of my life was to reinvent myself overnight and start on my own business. And here is the context in which I started my business. So on Monday evening, they decide to close our magazine. On Tuesday morning, they tell us they will close the magazine. On Friday, we were laid off. We got 1 month severance pay. We filed the keys and our computers, and we were in the street. And we were a group of English language journalists in April 2010, in the middle of the economic crisis, when no media were hiring non-Czech speaking journalists. And English, because I am not a Czech native speaker nor an English native speaker, so I couldn't find a role for myself in either media. And essentially, I had 1 month to reinvent myself and to do something else with my life. And what I said, I never want to go through this again. I'm going to start on my own. So I started my own company with no savings, no previous entrepreneurial experience, no family or spouse to have my back in a foreign country, in a foreign language, and in the middle of the economic crisis. So if you want bold moves, if you look in the dictionary for crazy moves, probably you will find my picture. But I'm still standing after 16 years. This is probably my greatest blessing that I feel it was crazy and it was right. So now I am the founder of Vornica, indeed in a mission to support wonderful women like you to find that burning spirit to really bring the best into the world. So the floor is now yours. I would love to encourage all of you in the room. Would you be so kind to go to the chat and share with us? What is one bold move that you're sitting on, like you feel it's like you're pregnant with it, you're like it needs to go out, you feel it's in you, but for some reason you're holding back? So what is the one move that the world is calling you to take right now? Go to the chat and share with us. Your first book. This is wonderful, Andrea. I I will anchor this with the moment when I got my first book. It's actually over there. And it was in November 2018, and I got a package from the printer, and I opened the package and I sniffed at the book. It was the smell of the fresh printed paper, and I cried. I think it's the same emotion that you have when you have a baby and you're just like you're taking a sniff and you know it's yours. Well, that's the kind of feeling you've got. So I wish that moment for you. What else is there? Keep them coming. All right, so let's take to become an entrepreneur. Mhm. Priscilla, take the road at your own peril. After being an entrepreneur for 16 years, in particular as a woman entrepreneur, I think entrepreneurs are, walking scars, I call them. We take all the punches of the world in the face and we still figure out a way to move forward. It is the most beautiful journey of self-development ever. And as a woman, it is also one of the most, mind and heart opening. So fingers crossed for you. Same for Veronica, starting my own company of consultancy. Brilliant. Nikia, finishing my first book. Well, we seem to have a pattern here. Brilliant. So Jennifer, not holding back any longer. Last month I started my consulting business. Oh my God, we've got entrepreneurs in the room. Tired of being told to choose to focus on one skill, to be valuable to someone else's business instead of serving others using all of my skills. Latasha, applying for a new job, higher role like director or VP. And Gia Selvia, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Career restart into entrepreneur after a second career break. Work as a digital nomad. Brilliant. So all of you, with the exception of Jennifer, maybe you can tell us in the chat, what was the one thing that helped you to make that bold move? And for the rest of you who have not, the move that is in you, that is already moving you, what's holding you back? So what's really the one thing that is holding you back? Please share with us in the chat. You don't have to go in details, but if you were to put one word or one sentence, Jennifer, feeling powerless. Brilliant. Yeah, yeah. Jennifer, that's exactly what threw me into becoming an entrepreneur, because I got like, when the magazine where I worked was closed, I was deputy editor-in-chief. I had a very good reputation, very good name. I was 29. I was very, very skilled. And I got offers like in 2 days, I got offers 3 times more the salary that I used to make from in PR agencies. And I chose to go on my own because it felt right. And I never wanted to go through it again, right? To build something only to have it taken away from me. So that sense of powerlessness, that need to be the master of your own creation, that was the motivation for me. Brilliant. Focus, destructive feedback. Yeah. Fear the grass not being greener on the other side. Probably it isn't, but that's not the matter, it's a matter of nuance. Fear, retrench from role that made me travel Africa, holding my back. Fear. Thank you. Brilliant. Too old to find work at 49 and the market economy, the belief that you are disposable. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing, and keep them coming. If there are other reflections as we move through the presentation, please don't hesitate to share them with us. What I am bringing you today, or what I would like to invite you, I want to invite you. I'm not a good driver, so that's a secret I need to share with you. That stepping in the car with me, that's a bold move. That's a life-risking move. But anyway, today I want to invite you to step into a car with me, right? So we can take a U-turn together. And this U-turn is particularly relevant for us women. And I believe we're only women in the room today, right? So here is what happens when we are when we are born and when we start being socialized as young girls, our our attention, we're being socialized to constantly map the environment around us. And this is a matter, this is a deep systemic pattern that emerged from our survival as women. There are still societies in which being born a girl means being born a burden for the family, a risk, a vulnerability. Because you are not the one who will, build and bring resources home. You're the one who needs to be endowed with resources to build somebody else's, property. So being born a girl was automatically considered being a vulnerability for the family or for the tribe. I don't know if you know this, but when we are having our periods, our immunity goes down. Because our immunity goes down throughout the history, we would be more prone to infections. And that's why women would be more isolated, right? So the infections don't spread into the tribe. Yet again, attaching vulnerability with the female condition. So in order for us not to be left in the forest to freeze, our mothers and grandmothers and the women around us taught us that in order to survive and thrive and secure the survival of our own daughters, we have got to constantly map the needs of others and deal with that first, because that will give us a fighting chance in order to survive. So it is almost as if we're born in this body as a woman, and our attention through socialization is constantly sent outside to map the reality and the needs of others. How about daddy? How about my parents? How about grandpa? How about uncle and auntie? How about my siblings? How about my neighbors? How about my proximity community? How about the teachers? Later on, how about the spouse? How about the kids? How about colleagues at work, right? So our spirit has learned this movement of going out, mapping the needs of others, and striving to meet them in an attempt to survive, to get resources, to be loved, to be appreciated, to be seen, and so on and so forth. And the most dangerous thing that happens here is very often we confuse our own need to survive with love and loyalty. We don't know otherwise. I call this living in the neighborhood of ourselves. When our spirit goes constantly out there, mapping the needs and meeting the needs of others, we're not at home. We are dislocated. A part of ourselves lives out there with the others as opposed to really being embodied in ourselves. And when we hesitate to make a big move, very often is because something holds us back, the fear of harsh feedback. Well, imagine that you're not embodied into your own, reality, into your own truth, into your own body. You only have this floating spirit moving around, mapping the needs of others. And that poor spirit receives tough feedback. You're not good enough. Well, it is not anchored. Of course that it is very easy to feel destroyed and devalidated. You receive rejection. You may receive, suffering. Many women spend too much time in unhealthy relationships in our personal lives or in our teams and companies because of what we believe is love and loyalty. But in reality, is that our spirit is floating out there without any kind of solid grounding. We don't know where home is. And with no home, we just move from neighbor to neighbor, hoping the next neighbor will be a bit kinder to us. And that's not a good place for bold moves. That's a place for reckless moves. It's a place that most certainly will take us into a place of new kind of suffering because we're not home. So the U-turn I want to encourage you to consider is from being socialized to look out to this, to everybody around us, is essentially to turn yourself, to turn your back to this for now, and to start walking this journey towards yourself. Yourself, the beautiful Priya, Cecilia, Laura, Jennifer, Aneta, Priscilla. Who are you, wonderful woman? And the only way to do this is through self-reflection, consistent self-reflection. The unexplored spirit, the unexplored body, the unexplored life is the greatest type of waste we can experience in a lifetime. And this is a type of exploratory work no one can do for you because no one lives in your body. No one knows your needs throughout the month or throughout the year. No one knows how your sleep patterns. No one can do that exploratory work but you. Here comes a trick. Forgive me. Something in my throat. So here is something that surprised me when I work with women. Very often, we women have zero alone time. So at night, we sleep with the spouse. In the morning, the kids are like, okay, we need to do the breakfast. Or if not the kids, the pets. I used to have a dog and 2 cats, so I know that. And then, we take them to school, and then we go to in public transport sometimes, and we go to an office, and we're surrounding with people. Then we go back, we go to lunch in a canteen, in a restaurant, people all around us. We take the public transport back, we're home, we're with the family, and we crash in the bed with the spouse next to us, worst case scenario, snoring. So when are we to have a bit of holy time for ourselves? A bit of space to invite our spirit in and let it speak. So the key is self-awareness, but also, and this can feel almost like a heretic recommendation for women, it's alone time. It's me time. It's time that you take when you go on a walk and you just sit by the water and you look in the water. And you allow the spirit to speak to you, your spirit. You make room for it to speak. It's loud enough to hear it. How many of us have a spouse, are most not without, or single breadwinners? God knows. If you're single breadwinners, you have a kid, right? It doesn't have to be a spouse. If you are close to a family, you are, a majority of women I know, that's not saying everybody, but the majority of women I know, we are surrounded with people. And the moment when people are present in the room, again, our spirit goes out there to them to map their needs. So I encourage you to engage in regular self-reflection and to make a commitment to yourself to spend some time, really alone time, even if it is 15 minutes during a walk. Like those poor moms who close themselves in the toilet just to have a moment for themselves to pacify the kids. So it doesn't matter how you do it. Just understand how vital this time is for yourself, so you can explore your needs, so you can understand your needs, because unless you do this, you have no roots for your bold moves. And I will show you on the next slide what kind of levels of personal resilience you can consider. But to close the U-turn, so here we're spending time exploring our real needs, exploring our vision, and then and only then we can come back into the world and show up again for others, but it's from a different energy. It's from an embodied energy, it's from a clarity of vision, a clarity of values, a clarity of principles of collaboration at home and at work. And the clarity of vision is what powers our bold moves, right? As you will see in a moment. So I'm going to go to the next slide, your needs and your resilience. But in the meantime, I want to honor what is pouring in the chat. So Latasha, single breadwinner and mother of 2 plus 1, A dog. Okay. That is very, very precious. And you have a beautiful, loving family of kids and furry kids. Sonia, caring for aged parents has brought me to a different mirror. Challenges in a way children and spouse has not. Sonia, I have all my compassion for you and this situation, and I feel that more and more of us are faced with this reality. Last year in my community, I had 3 women CEOs who had to drop their jobs to take care of family of aging parents because of, beyond anything, cultural constraints. So one was Romanian, Italian, and Turkish. And because the culture is so strong and it enforces the child duty towards an aging parent, even though they were CEOs and they earned way more than enough to provide for the parent in a different setting, they had to go in this direction. And we need to be very careful with that. We need to be very, very careful because we are faced with longevity. So our parents are said to live longer, but when they were born, they were not planning to live to be 100. So they didn't plan their health accordingly. They didn't plan their finances accordingly. They didn't plan their relationships and social circle accordingly. And now it's almost like, ooh, I'm 80. I have some health issues. I have some financial issues. Could you please take care of that? Right. And you have kids to take care of, and you have this demanding boss, and you have AI transformation in your company and also all of the remaining demands. So, my dear friends, if you don't do the U-turn with good care of yourselves, it will break your back. I'm not kidding. This is literally, we are going through so much tension on the backs of women these days that unless we really become very committed to nurturing our own needs, it's gonna break our back. Speaking of needs, let's see what kind of types of resilience I want to encourage you to nurture so you can make your bold moves. Physical needs. It really goes down to the bottom line, right? The physical needs, the sleep, the hydration, the food nourishing if possible, the sunlight, the exercise, the nature, intimacy, all of the physical needs. And honestly, only you know, again, and I didn't put here all our hormonal needs throughout the month, right? How exactly we need to adapt and we need to be very conscious of, do we have room in our lives to make a bit of planning, to be a bit gentler with ourselves during the period week? Or to make the bold move right after the period because the whole universe is backing us up, and we are unstoppable during that first week. So are we really working with our biology to leverage it, to nourish it, and to leverage it in order to power our bold moves? So start with the basics, right? And really honor this embodied, because that's the only home you've got. And when the spirit is moving and mapping the others and living in the neighborhood of yourself, when you invite it back into the body and you really gently and lovingly, committedly take care of this shell that holds your spirit, again, everyone will benefit. It's an investment into the others. It's a commitment to the others. Physical needs, financial needs. You will see the piling of the chakras here. Right, with the physical and the financial. My dear friends, this is so important. And like I see so many women for a reason or another abdicating on the power of the purse. This is, some of us never had it or had very little, right? But we have got to understand that any kind of autonomy, influence, in the power to decide on anything starts with the power of the purse, which means with your capacity to bring home some earnings that can secure your existence and the existence of those you love. And I know, because I'm asking a lot of myself, Like I'm the main breadwinner in my family, and I'm also supporting my father. So, like I know what I'm talking about when I'm sharing these things. And it's so easy when we have a loving spouse who's providing for us. It's so easy to feel like, oh, maybe the power of the purse is not so important. But what if, right? What if that person is not there tomorrow for a reason or another? So we need to be very, very mindful about these things, and we have got to develop our financial intelligence to really know exactly, like, are my earnings right now aligned with what is possible on the market and with my skill level? Many colleagues, I work a lot at developing careers, women's careers, right? And when I'm asking them, how much do you earn? This, do you feel it's little or a lot? I have no idea, because they never bothered to talk to others to benchmark their salary level compared to what's happening on the market. They're too shy. Oh, people don't talk about money where I come. Ah. Talk about money, start a conversation. We need to have more transparency on these topics, because otherwise we never know if we may, if we're paid equally. Czech Republic has almost 20% gender pay gap. This is terrible. So we really need to make sure that our earnings are representative of our skills, of our, capabilities, geography where we are, that our costs are well managed, that our savings are there to keep us warm when something happens, that we understand what kind of investments make sense for us. And that perhaps, if you want to, and many of you were in the chat speaking about becoming entrepreneurs. My dear friends, when I started on my own, I had zero savings and I had to make it work. I took a loan from a friend and from another friend, paid the first loan until I made it work, because I had no chance to build a runway. But if you have a chance to build a runway, and when I say a runway, means savings, so you can, in an ideal world, when you want to start your own business, you should have your life costs covered and a bit of money on top so you can invest into a website, into graphic design, into V cards, into a bit of better clothing when you go for networking, shoes, all of the ChatGPT premium version, all the crappy stuff that comes with being an entrepreneur, and good laptop, good camera, all the hardware that you need to start investing in yourself, like that should come from your runway in an ideal world. And there are many costs, trust me on that. So the financial needs, right? We really need to, like, this is a sober look at our lives. And because we are so focused on the next levels of the Maslow hierarchy of needs, right, on the emotional and so on and so forth, we tend to ignore this. But this is where the rubber meets the road. And this is where our general resilience and health starts. Moving forward, our emotional needs, right? Emotional resilience. What does that mean? Relationship management. For the good, to get love and support and appreciation and recognition from it, but also to contain the toxic people in our lives. Because blood does not give right to abuse. Right? And many of us, to honor blood, we allow abuse. And also, I know what I'm talking about. My mom is a narcissist, and it took me years to contain her, to figure out a way to contain the relationship so it doesn't spill more poison into my existence. Very, very challenging. Relationships, friendships, most important part of our lives, right? Friendships that endure throughout time with the people who really stay, the people we chose to have in our lives. Pets and their massive emotional role for us. But my dear friends, also emotional self-mastery. So I need you to understand that when you are in in today's environment, we are being cultivated to experience two emotions: rage. Jesus, how is this possible? Another war. Trump did this. He said that, right? Social media, rage and awe. Ah, right. He thinks like me. Oh, the puppies. So we are being trained to go into the extreme of emotions: rage, hatred, and rage, and awe. And this is massively, like, this is really triggering our amygdala. And the more we expose ourselves to social media these days, particularly social media like X or TikTok, it's really pulling us into emotional reactivity. And if emotional self mastery was difficult before social media, now God be with all of us. Because it is almost an impossible battle. You turn on your mobile and you are being triggered from all fronts to become emotionally reactive. And guess what? When we are emotionally reactive on social media and we call people idiots, nothing happens. We switch off the mobile, no consequence. But we take the same behavior in public transport. We take the same behavior in traffic, right? Once emotionally reactive, always, constantly emotionally reactive. So this is another uphill battle that we need to, get a grasp of and become better at it. Jennifer, the toxic people, pruning them for a year now. Yeah, yeah, it's a skill in itself. Social needs. This is another thing, my friends, that you're doing so wonderfully in this community. And I just want to encourage you to also um, pay attention to your sense of deep nourishment, like social nourishment, right? When you come together, when you feel like, oh, I'm welcome here. You did a wonderful thing at the beginning. You gave voice to everyone, right? Who is volunteering for the community. That's the way to go about it. Because again, with social media, they give us an impression of being connected all over the world and of having a social, belonging to the human race. Nonsense. Actually, social media were what diminished and tore apart the fabric of our communities and societies. So it's so easy to fall for the illusion of social connection through social media and ignore the need of social connection when we go to the store and just say hi to a neighbor, or when we come into a community and turn our cameras on and you say, I'm just so glad to see you. How have you been? So, community, belonging, service to others, very important and very emotionally uplifting as well. Mental needs, right? We're moving from the body to the emotions, amygdala, and we're moving into the neocortex. We're moving into the most fundamental part of us as intellectual and intelligent human beings. And here is where the real war is happening these days, right? The war for our attention, for our focus, the clarity, like the capacity to create clarity. You can't create clarity when you're constantly mapping the needs of others or involved in operations. And Aneta knows when we're talking project management, how I call this the operational spell. So many women drown in operational work, right? We swim at the level of the water and we fall under the water constantly instead of actually getting our head above the water so we can have clarity. Where are we heading? Why are we heading that way? Right? Because we're so busy with operations. So again, the me time, the time alone is vital to create clarity, to define your focus, to learn deep work so you can go into the zone of mental flow, right? Type of attention. So you can learn and experience a sense of mastery of a skill or of some piece of knowledge. And of course, attention management. Yet again, social media and all the distraction, the digital distractions, notifications, phone calls and all of that, the battle for our attention is monumental. One word here, in relation to the impact of artificial intelligence on our mental needs, we haven't seen the beginning of this battle yet. So this is going to, I believe strongly that artificial intelligence will do to our human intelligence what the food companies did to our bodies in the 70s. So before the 70s, there were almost no obese people. Now we have 40% of obese people, but that at least we can see. With the impacts of artificial intelligence, we will not be able to put our finger on, hey, my friend, you are not thinking. The neurons are not connecting. We really need to do some heavy lifting here. So I'm concerned about that. I'm really concerned about the impact of the way we use artificial intelligence to train our brain. And the thing I did for myself this winter, I went back to print book reading. I really sat down and I forced my brain to sit with the chapter until I finished without checking my mobile. Because we're so dopamine addicted, we are absolutely triggered and we are constantly, the mobile at hand. Our bodies and brains have been hijacked by the way our world is being set. And the last thing I'm going to say here is our spiritual needs, having a sense of personal purpose. Why am I here? My purpose to bring more good power into our world. Good power, power that serves, power that is embodied and is for the service of others. A sense of a mission to triple the number of women CEOs in Europe, to bring more women into positions of influence that can actually make a difference, to have a clear vision. That's how I want our family to live. That's how I want to live when I'm 80. That's how I would like our community to look like. Give yourself permissions to have a vision. So many women do not give themselves permission to envisage something because they feel they would encroach in the territory of the man, of the spouse, of the boss, of the God knows whom, right? The politician. So give yourself permission. When you close your eyes and you envisage something, the spirit speaks through you, and you will see exactly what you were born to bring into this world. So vision, your values, and then your goals. You work on all of these, you get clear, you nurture them. Like, this is your duty. Right? This is your holy duty. And even if it feels a lot, this is so fundamental to nourish the ground underneath your bold moves. Because imagine you're taking a bold move without a vision. That's going to be a crash. Or you're making a bold move without thinking about your finances. That's going to be a challenge. Or taking a bold move without having clarity of intention. That's going to be confusing. See what I mean? How everything is connected? Right. The last type of resilience I really want to encourage you to consider is career resilience. So again, I'm going to touch a bit on the AI because AI is triggering deep reinvention of human roles, right? Of the world. And my concern is the majority of the roles being reinvented are roles that were typically done by women, right? Operations in general, supply chain, HR, translations, right? Because we could do those things remotely. And now it's just so easy to replace them. Consulting, even coaching, therapy, legal, all of these roles are at risk because of the way AI is shaping, our clients' perception of the value of these services. So I really want you to, before you do anything else, I want you to clarify this question for you. How am I gonna create value and make sure I can still earn money, good money, 10 years from now? 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What are the generally valid, evergreen, never dying human values I'm ready to serve? Right? Because that's like AI or no AI doesn't matter. When we're connected spirit to spirit, we can still find a way to serve. And when you bring the best of yourself, you will find a way to be paid and to secure a good life for yourself or for your beloved ones. So we need to really think about this, and how I encourage you to nurture your career resilience, to really double down on being curious. Again, we women who are so busy. I mean, we're always curious about what the neighbor did, or what the other lady did. So I'm generalizing, but and making fun. But I really want us to double down on the healthy curiosity, the cognitive empathy. Oh, why are you thinking the way you do? Why are you doing the way you do? Tell me more. The healthy curiosity. What's your vision about that? How do you think about that? Right? So, healthy curiosity. opening up our learning mindset to grow beyond shame and guilt. Guilt, I don't have enough time. Shame, what if I fail, right? By the way, many of you many of you wrote about fear, and like fear is holding me back. My dear friends, dig beyond fear and you will find shame. You will find shame very often, the terror of shame. Because we, very often as women, we were raised, aren't you ashamed? A good girl never does that. A girl, So we were, and shame is a very heavy emotion. And we were never taught to how to process it. So fear, anger and fear, these are beautiful emotions. Very often, they have nothing to do with the emotion behind. Anger covers grief. Fear covers shame. These are the real motors, engines that are powering, our hesitations, if you will. Double down on exploration and skill combination. This is from where innovation comes. I'm hearing just yesterday, I was talking on Wednesday, I was talking to a friend. She's a psychologist. She worked in HR. Now she resigned and she got certified in forest bathing. Like really taking people to the forest for so-called forest baths. I don't know if you know, in Japan, you can go to a doctor and you can go prescription for forest baths. That's what she's planning to bring to the Czech Republic. What an amazing combination of her therapy skills, of her HR skills, and now we're combining it with nature. So through combination of through ingenious combinations of skills, we can create really magic for ourselves and for others. Innovative thinking, problem solving, that's what the AI is still crap at. And we can be really interesting, really smart. Like, where's the real problem? Where's the systemic nod, right? Where can I actually figure out something that AI can't see it because it doesn't have the human perspective? Reputation management and personal branding, that's my bread and butter. I've been working with this, since I was a journalist with my clients. Because it's not just about reputation for people to know how great you are, but it's reputation management for people to know that what you offer is still valuable, is still worthy. And why is it worthy? Look at lawyers, look at consultants, look at therapists, look at coaches. If you have ChatGPT in your pocket for $20 a month, and it can give you any response you want and praise you in the process, right? Why would you go for a lawyer? Why would you go for a therapist? So we need to double down on our personal branding and reputation management in order to convince people that our work is still valuable. Conscious stakeholder management. Whom are we serving? How are we serving them? Direct outreach. It's not enough to just, be pretty and wait that they were going to see us and our results and our service. Reach directly. One of you sent me an email today, and I'm very appreciative how to take a bold move in my career. Identify the next stakeholders and reach out to them and ask them, what are your challenges? How do you see success? How can I help? Right? Reach out to your stakeholders directly. And double down on the people management and leadership skills. I do believe that when you strengthen yourself with these, right? So we did the work on personal resilience. Now we're building our career resilience. And now we're finally ready for our bold moves. I do believe that when we want to make sustainable bold moves, we can bring more good power into our world, but we have got to be deeply anchored in ourselves and in our own vision of the future. All right. So with this being said, I'm going to close my screen for now, and I'm going to go to your wonderful comments to see what has poured in. All right, Sonia, what if you have the menopause, wake up at 2 a.m., they cannot sleep, struggle to focus on a book, you tend to get bored, scroll Insta. It's a fact of life, Sonia. We need a lot of mercy, self-compassion and mercy with ourselves because it's funny that you're mentioning that. So yesterday I was at this social event, came home at 11. I was so ramped up I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 4:30. I had the gym, I had the coaching session before our session. I was like, and I'm not going to be able to deliver this today. So I believe we just need to develop a bit more compassion as we grow into our age and our bodies start to change and our energy starts to go down. Just more compassion and more clarity in communication with our stakeholders. Like sometimes I just need to lay down. Sometimes I just need to postpone something and I do it with love and with respect, but I need more spaciousness for myself. Sudha, going to start my coaching and consulting business this year. We're getting lazier, mentally lazier for sure. Rafiat, having clarity of values, purpose, and mission is so fundamental. All of this helps in decision making. Rafiat, if there is something I believe we're so aligned on that. So my core values are integrity, freedom, and partnership, and they hold themselves together. Partnership, kind of holds freedom in check. I can't do whatever I want because I'm responsible to my partners. But also in my partnerships, I have freedom, so I don't overgive. I think our values are the fundamental roadmap on our way to our vision. And if we don't know our purpose, if we don't know our values, we're going to get lost. Again, we're going to embrace the values of others and we're going to claim they're our values, but they're going to be just, this kind of projected values as opposed to being our core values. And we're not gonna get far. Yeah, Jennifer, as one of my business partners said, human is in. Yes, actually want to connect with real humans in business. Indeed, that's the magic of those who are heading into coaching and consulting is greater. Yeah. Priscilla, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of the line of fear. Yeah. Well, lovely ladies, thank you very much. Would you be so kind to go into the chat and in the light of everything I shared with you over the last 45 minutes, what is one thing that stuck with you that really, like you're taking it to your heart? Yeah, yeah. Sometimes companies are asking me to deliver training on time management, and I'm telling them I love you. No. We all have 24 hours, and some of us, they create miracles, and some of us, we can't. It's not about time. It's about the way we master attention, and attention is a matter of self-mastery, right? So yeah, we've got to learn to train that muscle. Yes. Well, it is bold moves are possible when we are not resilient, but they're very risky and usually they end up in trouble. So when we're resilient, our bold moves are healthily born babies. Know what I mean? You power them. You power them. You give them a chance to make it through. It doesn't mean you're gonna be right all the time. It doesn't mean it's not gonna hurt, but they have a fighting chance. If they're anchored in the needs of others and in the expectations of others, no. Priscilla, create a ritual for being alone. Yes, to really I also want to encourage all of you to convey your need of being alone as an investment into your relationships. Because many times our kids and our spouses and our parents and our colleagues are like, why do you want to be alone? Are you upset? What's wrong? What did I do wrong? No, I'm just recharging. Like you charge your mobile, no? Yeah, I'm recharging now so I can come back with full battery so I can be present for you. Double down on our value. Brilliant, Jennifer. Compassion. Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So, is there anyone among you who would like to bring forward a question about an important move that you would like to take and something holding you back? Something that we can use our next 15 minutes discussing. Thoughts, reflections, questions? Rafiat, I see you. Yeah.
Now that is so unfair.
I'm so grateful for your response to my email. And if that's okay, I will respond to your needs. So Rafiat was asking me, about the bold move of stepping more into public speaking. Is that correct?
Yes.
All
It wasn't
right.
so much asking, it was because you asked the question, was the
Yeah.
bold move? And
Uh-huh.
the bold move that I've been avoiding and trying to avoid for the last 2 years, even though I know that's the right thing to do, was to step into public speaking. I know I can do it. But then there's that little girl who says, oh, well, you sure? Do you think you have enough? I know I have enough. Is it what they want to listen to? I know it's what they want to listen to. But actually, this week has been quite interesting. This has come actually on a good day because I was on a course for the last 3 nights, and it kept hitting me. And it was like, you know what, girl, you're just on the cliff. All you have to do is flap your wings and fly. So that's what so that's why I didn't sort of, because I know all that has ever been in my way is me, and I know what part of me, I know where that came from because I love the concept of sitting in with yourself. I call it me time, and I believe in God, and I have got time, and I have to have that every day. And in the sitting through this week, it's been clear there is nothing there. It's just your little girl. So I've appeased her and said,
Yeah.
it's okay,
Yeah.
we can do this. We've got evidence. I have more evidence to do
Bingo.
it. So yeah, and for most things, I think is making that decision, coming to that place of alignment with yourself, your
Yeah.
heart, your spirit, your soul, and what you know, and
Yeah.
just focus on it. The rest of the noise suddenly becomes quiet. So I woke up a different woman this morning, and my husband said, "Hello," and I went, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing it." So yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey, but yeah.
No, I absolutely love it, Rafiat, and I want to share 2 points for you and for all of our colleagues in the room. The first thought is about presence first marketing. So when we're talking, I mean, look at what is happening with AI on LinkedIn, for example. All posts feel the same, right? Because all of them, they have been purged through ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. So in this sea of sameness, you have a chance through presence first marketing to make a monumental difference, to bring your energy, to bring your beautiful, really your face, your hair, your body structure in front of the people. So I believe that our way forward in personal branding is gonna be presence first marketing. And interestingly enough, it's going to be aligned presence first marketing. So that means that if I put a picture with me, that when I come in front of you, I better look like my picture. If I put Gemini to trim and make me 50 kilos and I come in front of you in all my splendor, now that's going to be a surprise. And it's going to send a signal that I'm not trustworthy. We don't want that, right? So presence first with a lot of authenticity and again, trust in your embodied presence. You're good enough. You're beautiful enough. You're relevant enough. You've got what it takes. First idea. Second idea is that it's much easier to make a bold move when we have the vision. And the bold move, we see the red thread between the bold move and achieving the vision. If the two are disconnected, or if we're not having a clear vision, we feel the pull, but it's kind of but why? It's going to cost me. It's going to cost me time. It's going to cost me energy. It's going to cost me emotional investment. If I don't have the vision, a vision I love, a vision I'm so attached to, a vision I believe in, I'm not going to have the energy to power my bold move. See what I mean? So we got to have the vision so we can actually get the nourishment for the bold move so the two are connected. Let's see what we've got. Sonia, please help me understand what do you mean by GBW? I don't want to make any assumptions.
Thank you. I'm referring to gender-based violence. So I volunteer with women that are in abusive relationships in South Africa. Also children's homes where girls are abused to help them get on their feet. And often it's just a lot of what you were saying, learning teaching them to love themselves again, leaving an abusive situation, and helping them to find the confidence to get back on or to get on their feet, because they often don't even have jobs or income or self-sustainability. So that's why I was very inspired by your talk today. As to how to practically bring that message across to women from those community platforms. Thank
So
you.
first of all, Sonia, I want to thank you for this work. I think that that is absolutely one of the most fundamental, emotionally challenging work possible. Second, we need to understand the heaviness of trauma with the victims of violence. And they can be children, can be women, can be men as well. So what happens is that trauma is magnetic. And when we deal with people who need us and who are under, under traumatic influence or under traumatic, parkour in their lives, this magnetism manifests that we want to rescue them, right? To save them, to go and to kind of take them out of there. So I'm sharing this with you because I want you to pay attention to becoming a genuine supporter and enabler, not a rescuer. You can't rescue someone who is trauma bonded, right? You only will destroy yourself in the process. So that's one thing. Second thing, what really helps, what I've seen that helps, is to give these people almost like an embodiment of possibility. So sharing stories of survivors and allow the survivors to show the way to resources, ideas, possibilities, and tie the knot, how they managed to leave home when the abuser was not there so they can protect their security, their safety, and so on and so forth. So in a way, you become a holder of a space in which you welcome the survivors and you point them to both stories and resources. But you also accept their speed of pace with mercy because it is on them to, listen to the story and use the resource and fulfill their destiny. But it's the most difficult work ever. Like
It's
working in that
also
space.
critical to know the difference between empathy and I'm trying to think of the right word, where you feel sorry for them and you want to do things for them.
Sympathy.
I did get trained up on, because I also fostered a girl all the way through to adulthood, along with my two. And a lot of people think that being very firm and always focusing on the solution side and always focusing on the future, as opposed to feeling sorry for them, is the answer, and it's not. To your point, it's you want to be an enabler,
Bingo.
Not a sustainer. There we
Exactly.
go.
And
Being an
very
enabler,
often,
not a sustainer, because they themselves often operate with a lot of fear. So, yes.
yeah. And Sonia, very often when we go into this rescuer mode or sustainer mode, we do it because we have problems of staying with our own discomfort from the pain of others. We're not solving their problems, we're solving our own discomfort. And by doing this, we're
Most of us actually volunteer because we come from that background of violence and abuse. And because now we have learned skills of survival and growth, we want to pass that on. So
Yeah.
it becomes healing for us in the
Yes.
process of
Yes.
sharing the healing. And
It's
I just find the one thing that I struggle often with is to with victims, get that victim mentality switched off, because in our country, there's a huge sense of entitlement in South Africa that
Yes.
comes from the past. I'm not from South Africa, I'm from Namibia. So I don't
Mhm.
also come from that background.
Yeah.
And when you are dealing a lot with people that are operating with fear and entitlement, even within a work environment,
Yes.
it takes a lot of emotional energy.
Yes.
And to your point, then you need to go into a quiet space to recover. But what I have not mastered, and this is actually where my question comes from, if you have energies drained from you a lot based on environment and so forth, and you go into a quiet space, maybe I've got ADHD, I do take Concerta. When I sit in that quiet space,
Mm.
I find it difficult to reinvigorate myself. I sit there going, okay, now I'm bored. Okay, now I'm trying to meditate. I believe in God, all of those things, but I don't find it natural to go into a
Mhm.
quiet space and
Yeah.
reinvigorate. And practically learning how to do that is my next life skill that I would like to learn this year. Thank you.
Mm.
Sorry.
I feel you, and I feel the both the heaviness with which you enter the regeneration space and what you need to do with in the regeneration space. What I noticed that helped me was to dance, not to jump into, because my body was too full and it needed a release. So exactly, it needed a release
Are you
first.
the Taylor Swift Shake It Off girl?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love reggaeton. Like I'm the first one to go for it. Right? So really allow your body until it reaches physical exhaustion and you feel it out. It goes through sweat, it goes through movement, it goes through shouting, it goes through silent screams, it goes through everything. And guess what will happen then? You fall into a blissful state of regeneration for your mind and for your spirit. But tend to your body first. Because your body caught the sensations, and guess where your own trauma lies? In your body. So your body, reactivated by the trauma of others, comes now with heaviness. The mechanisms you've learned are in your poor brain, which is only a kilo and a half. But the rest of your body has been activated and stimulated at so many levels. So tend to the body, allow it to make room for anything else, and then again, the spirit can speak. Ankita, I also thank you for your email. Let's see what you need here. So one move I have been considering, have not yet formally initiated expressing my interest for a foreign assignment. Absolutely. So Ankita, my encouragement for you would be to identify the decision makers and the people who could give you what you want. Okay, identify your stakeholders. Once you have identified them, try to see like how close the connection with them is, right? And if you don't have a relationship with them or a connection with them, try to figure out how you can get in front of them. And don't approach them with I want this from you, but approach them with I'm interested in you. I respect you. I want to understand your vision of success. I want to understand how a potential assignment, a foreign assignment for me could contribute to your success. How can we make this happen? See what I mean? Where do I have you on the screen, lovely lady? Checking, checking. Okay, over there. Right? Does this resonate with you, Ankita? Hope this does. All right, so let's see, Veronica, because I'm mindful of our time. Sustainable bold moves powered by alignment, clarity of value, and disciplined attention. Yes, brilliant feedback. I love feedback. Jennifer, skip the quiet. Please try guided meditation on an app. It can work. I tried it. I tried it with hypnosis for food management. And guess what? I always eat more after. So I'm guessing, like that. Sometimes they can do miracles and still, our bodies have their own lives, and we need to have a bit of also fun. So the men in my bloodline, my grandfathers and my father, they survived through humor. That's the inheritance I carry from them. Humor and self-humor, self-deprecation. And it's also, it helps very much. Dance, shake it off, exercise, sing, exactly, music. Yes, brilliant. So we have room for perhaps one more question. Bring it on either on the screen or in the chat, lovely ladies. And if not, I'm going to pass the floor to the community holders here. Ankita, no worries. If there's something I missed, or perhaps you want to me to deepen the focus on your question, please write in the chat. That is good enough. What else is on your minds and hearts? Last question. 3, 2. I'm going to share with you, while you're reflecting, I'm going to share with you a bold move I made, except for starting my business. In 2007, I was working full-time with a labor contract at the Czech Business Weekly. And I was living in a rented flat, in a room in a rented flat. And the lady the owner of the flat, she said, my husband is sick, I need to sell the flat. And my flatmates, they were like, oh, we're not going to do this. The two of them were a couple. We will buy our own flat. The other was a single guy. I'm going to move back to Slovakia. So it was on me. And I was 26. So this was in September 2007. And I was like, do I really need this to go for a mortgage? Right, at 27, 26, a single lady, big money back then, it was 100,000 euro. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. So I went to all the banks, only one decided to give me, and back then they were offering 100% mortgages. I had no savings. So they gave me 100% mortgage. I bought my flat, and a month after the financial crisis started. So no more 100% mortgages. But I held on. I'm in the same flat I bought back then. And this has become, it was one of the best decisions I have ever made. Because even when it was really difficult, my flat right now costs 400,000 euro. So it's not just the valuation of the asset, but it became an asset that helped me to to take other credit. I bought a flat for my father in Romania, and I used this flat as a guarantee for that move. I have quiet, I have peace. This is my place on the earth. This is my anchor, and so on and so forth. So one bold move will enable many other bold moves in the future when you really go for it. And you don't know when you make the bold move, you don't know how much it will yield. But if it's the right move, it will keep on yielding. All right, lovely ladies. Well, we have no more questions in the chat, so I'm gonna pass the floor. Aneta, Priscilla, Cecilia, Priya, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christina, and over to Cecilia again.
Yes, what a wonderful session. How inspiring are you, Christina? Thank you very much for this inspiring session. I took notes to make the bold move. So thank you very much. Please receive the certificate of appreciation for this wonderful session. We are really, really, really grateful because of you accepting being as we're first speakers in this 2026. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christina. And it was really, really a bold session, I will say, which is making me even bolder. I thought I was bold enough, but I think I'm becoming even more bold. Yes, with this, we wrap up the first event of the year. Everyone, please do let us know what do you think. Menti.com. Again, use the code 2273 5845. The code is there on the chat window. And we will be back in March again, March 13th to be precise. And this time we will talk about how to move in faith. Till then, take care, stay safe, and be bold. Don't forget to take that bold move.
And our pick, Priya. Let's say continue. Yes.
Cecilia, if you can stop the recording.
Thank you, Christina. It was amazing, super inspiring. Thank you so much.
My great pleasure. So we're gonna take a pic?
Yeah, with this move.
Bye.